Ladies and gentlemen, it's Missing the Point, and it's the Power Ranking Show. This voice may sound very unfamiliar, but I am Michael Marcangelo, filling in for our stalwart DK Sizzle, who is traveling, I would say abroad, but he's just back home in Massachusetts. I am joined by the real DK, Bob Kelly. These are his Power Rankings. Week 2 of the NFL was a wild fucking week, and we have a lot to go over. But Bobby, before we get into everything, what's your overall thought of the NFL Week 2? It feels like they're more prepared for the start of the season than they have in recent years.
Great. I think, well, the first big takeaway is a few surprising 0-2 teams to me, which we'll definitely go over. And I would say the other one would be, I'm a little surprised at all the injuries that I've seen so far. The quarterback injuries that happened in Week 2 were a little over the top. I literally lost 3 quarterbacks on one of my fantasy teams, literally all at once. So the injury bug always comes to bite early, and it seems like that's the case in 2025 for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. But I think for me, the most surprising thing was what I mentioned is that I think every year, we always talk on this pod about how the refs are blowing calls, or it just doesn't feel like that the players are ready for the regular season because of the shortened preseason or whatever it might be. But I'm not getting any of that based on all the games I'm watching. This feels like, pretty good, I would say, a mid-season football so far.
Agreed, man. Agreed. I think the offensive play is really what stands out to me. We've seen a lot of shootouts and a lot of games come down to the end, not because of sloppy play like we've seen in past years, where it's field goal fest in the first few weeks. Red zone has been top-notch the past 2 weeks. Scott Hansen has been a very busy man in the witching hour for the first 2 weeks, so it's been exciting for sure.
7 hours of red zone football. Not commercial
it's
free.
So sad. You don't notice it that much.
You don't even notice it, but they should have just not told people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have created an uproar if they just kind of did it, because they still show the games. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not like, yeah.
All right. So typically how this works is we go through cross-offs, honorable mentions, and then the actual power rankings. The cross-offs, I think, this could be really early to cross off some. I think some might actually fit though. So we have all the 0-2 teams. Right. And we'll just go by them one by one, and we'll leave the last one, which is by far the most surprising one, for the end. So the New York Jets, Justin Fields had a great week 1. It looked like that offense was kind of clicking against Pittsburgh. Week 2, not great. He's injured. He's out with a concussion. The defense doesn't look great either. And again, the Jets are 0-2. Is it too early to cross them off?
So the Jets, it is a little early. But what scares me about the Jets is coming up, they have week 3 versus the Bucs, and then they could get a win week 4 against the Dolphins. But they could start out 0-4 very easily. And 0-4 in the AFC East and in the AFC this year, I feel like is a death sentence. I don't know if you can come back from that. So I think we're putting the pencil to start the cross off on the Jets. If they get to 0-4, man, if they can't get a win against the Dolphins, then yeah, I think 0-4 is the line with them, because I don't see them coming back from that. I mean, I like Aaron Glenn a lot, but I think it was telling to see how bad that offense really was in week 2. And I mean, I don't know if maybe the Steelers just have a bad defense, and that's why the Jets look kind of good week 1, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see this week. I guess we won't see this week because Taylor's playing, but once Field gets back in against the Dolphins, I feel like we'll see exactly what they are. But they're very close to being crossed off for sure, which was very sad. I had high hopes for the Jets coming into the season. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, me too. And I think offensively, especially based on what we saw in the preseason, I think Justin Fields has exceeded everybody's expectations. But he seems like a formidable quarterback, and it feels like his release is better, his progressions are better, and it sucks that he got hurt. All right, so we're not going to cross them off. But I have a feeling we're going to cross the next team off. Cleveland Browns, 0-2. AFC North. Joe Flacco looks like 64-year-old Joe Flacco. That offense looks anemic. Every time I see him roll out to the right and then try to throw cross body, I'm thinking, does he still think it's 2013? He can't do that. I feel so bad for the players. I feel so bad for the fans, because regardless of what, and we're going to shit on the Browns a lot for the rest of this podcast, and I would say in the remaining episodes, those fans show up always. So another 0-2 start. The only thing that's that makes me not want to cross them off is what if they start Shador? And what if they catch fire?
So the thing with Shador is it seems like Gabriel is going to be the first one off the bench
That's
because
so
he was.
stupid.
It is stupid, but it does seem like that's what they're going to do. So I feel like Gabriel's going to get the first shot, and I don't know if Gabriel has it. I would rather see Shador, to be honest.
Right.
But yeah, I think we can cross them off. Coming up, they have the Lions, the Vikings, and the Steelers. So 0-5 is a very, very real possibility for them.
Yeah.
The Vikings, I guess, is possible with McCarthy out. With I think Wentz is the backup in Minnesota, right? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
yeah. But
And him and Kevin O'Connell, that could be interesting.
it could be. It could be. Maybe a little Wentz renaissance, a little like Sam Darnold again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, I think if anyone's getting crossed off, it's the Browns.
Okay. Okay. Will we have 2 cross-offs in our after 2 weeks of NFL action? Our next team, 0-2, the Miami Dolphins. They fought hard, but they did try everything in their power to lose that game against New England Patriots, which they successfully achieved. I thought that was the second best game of the week. This team feels like they don't care about the coach. The coach also feels like he doesn't care about the players or about the team anymore. He's just the polar opposite of the type of guy that he was when he first got there. I mean, he was so full of life and joy and just ripping vapes on the sideline. And now it's just like, you have to win a game, and if you don't win, you lose. Yeah, no shit, Yogi Berra. Okay, so what are we gonna do?
Pulling out John Madden quotes on us. Yeah, man, I don't know what happens with the Dolphins because it seems like it's like remember they scored 70 points on the Broncos, and then
Yeah.
ever since that point, I feel like the two franchises have just like split. Where like now the Broncos are kind of going up, and the Dolphins just haven't been the same. And this is usually when the Dolphins are actually doing things when it's warm out early in the season. The offense is usually firing on all cylinders. Tua looked better week 2. So I don't know if we can cross them off because they did look a lot better. But again, we're looking at an 0-3 start in the face because they have the Bills this week. And there's no goddamn way that the Dolphins are beating the Bills, especially on a short week. I'm not ready
Well, some would
cross.
argue that that's probably the only way they're going to beat the Bills, right?
That's true. That's true. Thursday nights are really weird. But I don't know. If Tua can play some actual football moving forward, and Tyreek Hill gets his head out of his ass, maybe they can get something going and sneak into the end of the wild card. But I just don't see it, man, because when you look at what they usually do, usually they're like 6-2 and finish 9-8 or 10-7, and barely sneak into the playoffs. If we're starting 0-3 with this team, and when we're getting in December, we're under 500. There's no goddamn way that Miami Dolphins are going on a run at the end of November or December and making the playoffs. So I still have Mike McDaniel as my first coach fired as well, for sure. He's definitely the top candidate for that at this point. If they get smoked by the Bills on Thursday, it's very possible that he doesn't make it to week 4.
Which is so wild to think. I mean,
yeah.
He do you blame him, or do you think he's handcuffed by Tua, or do you think that he's just lost the room? Or is it both?
I think it's both at this point because Tua just always gets happy feet now. If he gets pressure in the pocket, he breaks down. He's so turnover prone now too, which is exactly what Tua wasn't before. He was always like the accurate quarterback, the game manager who kept you in the game and would make plays over the top to Tyreek when he needed to. But now this version of Tua just it's not there anymore, man. And the defense too. The defense was just atrocious. What I think the stat was like they gave up points on their first 13 or 14 drives of the season. So it's like, bro, you can't do that as a professional football team. It's not gonna work. Not gonna work. So we're not crossing them off yet, but
it's close.
They're in the lower half of the power rankings at this point, and I don't think they're coming out of that.
The pencil is sharpened. The Titans of Tennessee. Cam Ward's looked pretty good. Like he hasn't looked bad. The offense, which I thought was going to be anemic coming into the season, again, I think has exceeded my expectations. I had low expectations for this team. I think on the prediction show, I think you all picked them. You and Ray, I think, had them somewhere around like 3 to 4 wins. So it sounds like you kind of cross them off at the beginning of the season, but I'd be interested to hear your argument to keep them uncrossed off.
I mean, they're also very close to being crossed off. I don't see them making the run. Moore does look pretty good. I really like
Yeah.
his first touchdown pass across his body. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It Tony Pollard doesn't look like the Tony Pollard of old, and that's what they would have had to rely on to actually win some games this year. Is that running game, and hoping that he had something left in the tank, because the defense doesn't have it. And I don't know if I like McDonald, the coach. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of him. He doesn't.
I don't
He
know
doesn't
that
seem
he
to.
matters. Really,
Yeah.
he doesn't sway the game in one decision in one way or another for me yet. Right? Like, can you say that they've lost a game because of him?
No, he just you just don't notice him, which
Yeah.
is something that I feel like that kind of sums up what the Titans are right now. Is like they
Yeah.
have so many guys that like they're just so unknown. Like you look at that team and you're like Cam Ward, Tony Pollard, and Calvin Ridley. That's really all they have at this point, and that's
Yeah.
just not doing it for me. That's not going to get it done.
You ever seen the movie Liar Liar?
Yeah, yeah.
The Titans are like the ex-wife's new boyfriend, Jerry. Just Magoo. Like they're
Right, yeah,
fine.
He's just there.
They're
Right,
fine.
he's there.
Just there.
Yeah, I don't see them winning. I think 3 or 4 might get the job done. I think we might end up getting that point, but I don't think that that's necessarily a bad. If the Titans look okay moving forward, I feel like they're going to see that as a positive season. To be honest, I don't think they're expecting much from Tennessee this year.
I think you are 100% right. Okay. I think this is a little surprising, though. Carolina Panthers, 0-2. Bryce Young has looked awful. Their offense has looked awful.
Really bad.
I mean, everything looks bad.
Yeah, they looked like they had some life against the Cardinals at the end of that game, but that's so the first 6 quarters, 7 quarters of football from the Panthers, they looked like they might be the worst team in the NFL. They looked really, really bad in the first 7 quarters of football. I would be okay with crossing them off, but I feel like DK wouldn't like it because he is a Bryce Young fan. So I feel like for DK's sake, we can leave him on cross this.
Well, I would actually argue the opposite because he's not here and because we're all about content. We should cross them off. And either I'm right or they have a great season and DK can just stuff that in my fucking face all offseason.
We don't like to uncross though. Uncrossing is a no-go.
You can't uncross. I was told you can't do that.
Right. Okay. So fuck it. Yeah. We like to do 2. We'll get 2 done in the first one. So we'll cross the Panthers off. I'm okay with that. They look really bad. And I don't see anything. I really don't. I don't know if Canales is the coach that's going to get it done in Carolina.
No, I don't think so either. We might actually get more than 2 cross-offs, by the way. It's your show. But I would just argue for the integrity of the show, for people that are listening right now, the integrity of this list is really predicated on the top 10. Bobby does a lot of research into that. And the honorable mentions and the cross-offs are a collaborative adventure. Unless I'm hosting and DK's not here, then it's that Speaker of the House take all over again. So, the New Orleans Saints. I mean, I'm not sure that quarterback knows how to play football. I just don't.
Rattling? Yeah, bro.
Don't think he got shown up by Mac Jones. And this isn't Mac Jones stepping into an offense with Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Debo, Brandon Ayuk. It's literally just, Mac looked really good, like really good.
Yeah, he was at 300 yards, which is crazy. He looked really bad at the beginning, but he settled in nice for sure. Yeah, throw into Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall is not, and having Mac Jones throwing the ball is definitely not what the 49ers had envisioned for their 2025 season. I can tell you that. Kendrick Bourne sighting in this game too, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yep.
A couple former Patriots wide receivers showing up this week. But yeah, so yeah, I'm okay with the Saints. We can. Listen, there's some really bad teams in the NFL, and the Saints are definitely one of them. They fight though, which is the thing with them. They're going to be in a lot of games. They're going to be a team that's going to upset a couple teams this year. I feel it, but they're not getting
they might go
4 or 5 wins.
I was going to say they're going to go. I think DK and I had them at 3-14. So I mean, they're going to be scrappy little fighters. But the Chicago Bears, Now I'm not
I
going to
feel
do
so
it.
bad.
I'm not even going to suggest it. However, this is not what we expected. And DK
No.
lowered his expectations the entire time that we were talking about in preseason. The offense has looked. I mean, they came out firing week one. They looked really good. I would argue that the reason that they're losing games now is actually because of Caleb. It's not bad coaching. It's not bad scheming. He's taking far too long in the pocket to make his decisions. He's not being rushed either. Not every single time. He has much more time than he did last year. I think you can't help but say like Roma Doomsday looks great. Like they has weapons, but 0-2, man. I mean, we're not going to cross them off, obviously, but it's not a great start.
No, it hasn't looked good at all. I don't know if he was to blame because the Lions came out absolutely on fire in that game. The Bears didn't stand a chance, but the Bears look like a mess right now. It looks like the same old Bears. I thought Ben Johnson was going to come out and actually have some fire on this offense. The offensive line is what's mostly surprising to me because Caleb, man, he's under fire almost every time he drops back. And they spent so much money on that offensive
You
line.
think you think it's every time? Like, have you? Do you think it's better? I think it's better than it was last year. Maybe it's not as good as
It
we
is
thought it was
better.
going to be.
Yeah, it is better, but it's not good enough. It's definitely not good enough to get the job done. Roma Dunze does look like a bright spot so far, though, for sure. First 2 weeks, Roma Dunze has looked very, very solid. He's actually number one wide receiver and has taken that role over from DJ Moore. I'd be intrigued to see what DK thinks about that.
Me too. All right, so we're not going to cross them off. That'd be unfair. The Giants. I mean, Russell Wilson throws for almost 500 yards in a wild game against the Cowboys. I mean, between Malik Neighbors, Robinson, Russell Wilson, that game was far more entertaining than it should have been. But then at the end, I think Russell's just like, you know what? They're looking for me to lose this game. I'll do it. And I'll overthrow Malik Neighbors, who has like a 12-foot vertical by about 10 feet right into the arms of the Dallas Cowboys and lose that game. 0-2. They know how to be 0-2 in fantastic fashion.
Yeah, they absolutely do. It's crazy that Wilson looked that good. You have to remember, though, the Cowboys' defense is atrocious. Their secondary is just really bad right now, especially since Bland went down. Diggs is not the same guy that he was in any stretch of the imagination. So I don't want to overblow it too much because I think what we saw week one of the Giants was more what they are. But at the same time, we can't cross them off just yet because if Russ plays like that, they have a chance to win some games for sure. They do. If they can put up 30 points because Russ is throwing 250, 300 yards a week, like they have a chance to win some ball games. They have a good offense.
Sure.
And the defense hasn't lived up to expectations so far. That front seven was supposed to be a lot better than that been so far.
Yeah.
And them giving up 40 to the Cowboys. I did not expect a shootout in that game with any stretch of the match.
What a great game it was, too.
Game of the week for sure.
The Houston Texans, 0-2. I mean, this might be the second most surprising 0-2 team to start. Obviously, we're going to finish out with the last one, but this team, it feels like they haven't recovered from CJ Stroud's rookie season and all the injuries that happened last year. It doesn't feel like their skill players are anywhere close to like what they were at the beginning of last year. I worry about the defense. I also worry that they could go 7-10 or 8-9, and then D'Amico Ryans is fired because that's just what happens to minority coaches in that league. And I think he's a good coach.
That would be unbelievably stupid if they fired D'Amico Ryans. I think he's a great coach.
Same.
Yeah, the offense is very scary in Houston right now. I don't know what the hell is going on. Putting up 14 and 20 your first 2 weeks is not going to get the job done. I don't know what happened to Stroud, man. He looks lost. Nico Collins is almost invisible, which is wild because I thought Nico was going to have an amazing season coming off the injury from last year. Yep. But, man, he does not look like the same guy. He's not getting open the same. It's tough in Houston right now. We're obviously not crossing them off, but it's a tough look in Houston right now. They got to rebound quick.
Yeah, you can't, like, your stat line as a quarterback cannot be 13-24 for 200 yards and a touchdown. Like that's just not going to do it, especially when you have somebody like a Nico Collins as your skill player. And by the way, like, They got Nick Chubb. He's not who he was before, but he's not terrible. Joe Mixon's on the shelf, obviously. They just need to hold this thing together and get healthy again. I think it's smart not to cross them off. Now, the
We're crossing
biggest
off there.
the biggest surprise of it all. But obviously, I would honestly say that this team has been shamed by you on this show for the duration of this show for, I would say, 5 years. And they usually prove me wrong. But they kind of look like the team that I called them back in our terrestrial days, the Kansas Shitty Chiefs. They're 0-2.
Not looking great in Kansas City at all. The offense looks bad. Travis Kelce is costing this team big time. That drop changed the entire game in the end zone. I don't know what's going on with them. We're obviously in no way stretching the imagination crossing this team off. But this is the first time in literally the start, since the power ranking started, that the Kansas City Chiefs are not in the top 10. The first time in, how long are we doing this? 5 years now? The first time in 5 years that they are not a top 10 team. And I thought some people might see it as an overreaction, but I don't think you can at this point because they don't look good. They don't look like a playoff football team right now in any way.
I mean, 2 weeks in a row, Patrick Mahomes leads the team in rushing. This past week, he went 16-29 for 187 yards and a touchdown and a pick. And Travis Kelce with that drop. And meanwhile, Mahomes had to throw like 4 straight moon balls to Tyquan Thornton just to get that offense going. Again, another former Patriot. So when you're relying on Tyquan Thornton, Hollywood Brown, who just doesn't look good anymore, Juju is looking exactly like he did in New England, which is actually making me happy. Yeah, Kansas City, they got a lot to worry about here. Honorable mentions.
Man,
we're going to plot through these. I'll do it in this order. We'll save our 2 teams, right? The Commanders. What do we think about them, Bobby? Like, I feel like I'm higher on them than you are.
Yeah, I thought about taking them and putting them in that Bengals spot, to be honest, just because of the injuries that the Bengals have and what I think the Commanders can do moving forward. But starting out 0-2, man, is rough.
Well, they're 1-1. Yeah.
1-1, yeah. But the Packers just absolutely dominated them. Daniels is already banged up, which is something that DK predicted coming into the season. They look old, which is, again, exactly what the knock was coming into the season. They already lost Eckler. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, or Bill, as they like to call him, isn't going to be an RB1 by any stretch of the imagination. And then Terry doesn't look like the same guy either, man. So I'm a little worried about Commanders. I mean, being in the East, worried, I guess, is a relative term. But if I was a Commanders fan, I would be a little worried because it's not looking like the same upside that they had last year. And if Daniels is going to be banged up already, they could be in trouble, man.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you're at all celebrating the fact that that this team is going up against it right now. You're right. Terry McLaurin does not look like the guy that just signed that deal. And I don't know if they're going to have buyer's remorse. I think Debo looks fine. I mean, 7 catches, 50 yards. Like, he looks fine. Like, that's what you can expect right now.
Oh, yeah, touchdown first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think losing Eckler, but this, like, if you've ever picked up Austin Eckler as a fantasy football manager, you know that he is the same risk, but a lower ceiling as McCaffrey. He's going to get hurt every year. He's never going to start 17 games. It's just not going to happen. And it sucks that I think he tore his Achilles, right?
Achilles, yeah.
Yeah, so he's done. And I mean, he's probably done for, I mean, that's a tough injury to come back from. Let's go with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I think J.J. McCarthy might not be able to be an NFL quarterback. I think he's had we've seen 7 quarters, 8 quarters of him so far, and he's looked good in one of them. And for Kevin O'Connell, who I would argue is a quarterback whisperer, I mean, he made Sam Darnold look far better than Sam Darnold actually is. They have good skilled players. The defense is showing up. Like, I do worry about, if I was a fan of the Vikings, that you made the wrong pick there and you should have maybe just kept Sam Darnold. But open to your take.
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't look like a QB1 and a guy that can lead a team to the playoffs, especially if he can't stay healthy because he's hurt again.
Right.
And it's a high ankle sprain. He's out for like 2 to 4 weeks. So We're getting the Carson Wentz show in Minnesota. We'll see what happens there. It's not great when you have a weapon like Justin Jefferson, a coach like O'Connell. The running back situation is not great. Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones, but if you can't at least look respectable when you have a wide receiver one like Justin Jefferson and a schemer like O'Connell, it's not a great sign whatsoever. And if you're not staying healthy, man, if you're not on the field, you're not winning games. You know what I mean? That's just the nail on the head right there. So we'll see what happens with them moving forward. If I was in Minnesota, I'd be very nervous for sure.
The wild thing about that game against the Falcons is that JJ McCarthy was the passing leader between the two teams, and he threw for 158 yards.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know about Penix either. Yeah.
Penix 13 of 21 for $135, and that team put up 22 points.
They have Bijan. They have Bijan, and that's literally it. I don't know about London either. I've never known about London, man. He seems more like a tight end than a wide receiver to me. I just don't think he has the jets and the burners to be a true wide receiver one in the NFL. He's like a Keenan Allen with a lot lower ceiling. And that isn't the red zone target that Keenan Allen is. You know what I mean? If Keenan Allen didn't have the ability to go up and get the ball like he does, and didn't have the route running, and didn't have that red zone ability, he wouldn't be Keenan Allen. And that's exactly what Drake wanted it. So I don't know.
Yep.
I don't like the Falcons. I don't like the Falcons either. Yeah.
I will say on the positive side though, that Kyle Pitts looks the best that he's looked since being drafted. Like he actually looks like a tight end in the NFL now.
Which isn't saying much, which is because he's looked really bad for a few years.
Correct. As someone who's taken him every year of fantasy. The Steelers. What do we think? I really wish DK was here because I do think that DK actually cheered when they beat the Jets. I do. I believe it in my heart of hearts. I can't prove that it happened. He says it didn't happen, but I can't imagine him rooting against him next to his beautiful bride. But again, we should set up cameras just to see that. But how do you think the Steelers have looked 2 weeks into the NFL season?
Well, it's been a tale of 2 weeks for them, right? Week 1, they looked awesome. Rodgers looked great. They beat the Jets, and everything was great. We thought the Renaissance was back on again, just like it was first couple weeks last year, but then went right back to 2024 Rodgers in week 2. He didn't look good. He looked old. The Seahawks had him running all day. The Steelers had literally no running game. And when Jalen Warren is your leading receiver, that's definitely not a good thing. And at the same time, they also had one of the stupidest plays I've literally ever seen in my entire life on that kickoff where Caleb Johnson just lets the ball go over his head and the Seahawks recover it for a touchdown. I've literally never seen that in my entire life. I was very confused when it happened. I was like,
why would I couldn't understand that either. It's like, if he's not fired, know what to do. Like he should cut instantly. No one loves Aaron Rodgers failing more than me, but maybe DK does. But the fact that he was on the run so much, and then 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when you get Aaron Rodgers moving out of the pocket like that, bad things happen to you if you're a defense. But he can't do it anymore. They cannot throw on the run like he used to. It's
now
clear.
It's the goal, man. Yeah, now it's what you do to stop Rodgers. You get him on the run, you get him outside the pocket, and he's in trouble. He's not going to be able to pick apart the defense like he used to. That was literally, like you said, bro, that was what made him so special. I mean, if you remember back in the day, man, him and Devontae Adams, I've never seen a wide receiver be able to break off a route when Rodgers was on the run and get open like he did. It was literally what made them such a special tandem. And that part of his game is just gone. So, completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, he also made Jordy Nelson a millionaire when then he went to the Raiders and was exposed for not being that good. Right? I mean, he had the talent. I've never argued that. All right, so I think our teams are the last remaining teams I want to talk about for honorable mentions, unless you want to throw up any other team names.
I think the Rams are intriguing. They almost took the Bengals spot as well. I just haven't seen enough from them yet, and I wanted to give the Bengals their credit. But the Rams are definitely right there. McVay is still, a top-notch coach. Stafford's still the top 10 quarterback, and I think they're going to be in it until the end. So the Rams definitely were a contender for the top 10.
Let me ask you right now, who would you rather have at quarterback, Matt Stafford or Aaron Rodgers?
Matthew Stafford, without a doubt.
Oh, it's not even close for you.
No, not even close, bro.
Okay. Love that.
Stafford can still pick apart a defense, and I feel like Rodgers has to be in the right situation to be able to do that at this point. So, yeah, definitely Stafford.
All right, the New England Patriots, man, 1-1, hell of a win down in Miami. They've done something. They did something that they haven't done in 6 years since the 2019 season. They beat like I said, a feisty Dolphins team, 33-27. I thought that Drake May looked really good in this game. I thought, 19-23 for like 230 or something. No turnovers, which is the key. If he doesn't turn the ball over, the Patriots will have a shot to win games against teams that they should be, not against like the Bills or, like the top upper echelon teams in the NFL, but against Miami, against the Jets, against the Steelers. They should win games like that. I thought Ramondre had the absolute clutch moment of that game with that catch in the fourth quarter. I was really happy. I was on a plane watching it, and I think I was the only one yelling, but it was great. I love watching that. But I think they should be honorable mention. I think that was a tough win for a team that hasn't had many tough wins in quite a long time.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think Vrabel showed up for this week 2 game. He had something to prove after week 1. Getting no coach fit Pete Carroll was a little embarrassing for week 1. So having him show up for week 2 and put together the game plan he did was definitely a good sign for the Pats. The only thing that scares me about the Patriots right now is their secondary without Christian Gonzalez looks just fucking lost. They look lost, man. Oh, I think 2 threw for 300 on them, right? Yeah,
Sure
15. So I mean that's definitely not a great sign, but I think the needle's definitely pointing up. They need to get better wide receiver play, which has been such a trend for so goddamn long with them. When Ramondre's, I know he had the catch in the fourth quarter, and he was great in week 2 for sure. But when he's your leading wide receiver, that's definitely not what you're looking for. Or when you have Diggs, when you have Booty, when you have these guys that should be doing something. I'm not sure if it's maybe just the game plan, what it was, but the wide receivers need to play a little better for sure.
Preach. I've been saying that for, I think, 4 years now. But I do love the connection that Drake May and Keyshawn Booty have. It's clear.
Agreed.
He put that ball where only Booty could catch it in the end zone. But that one catch, 16 yards, like he just dropped it right in. I loved it. All right, Dallas Cowboys, Bobby. 1-1. I would say the game of the week against those Giants from New York. Dak looked like I would say, a top 10 quarterback again. And your defense sucks. We already talked about that. But talk to me about, Javonte Williams looks like a serviceable running back.
So I'm very encouraged of what the offense looks like for sure. I'm not getting ahead of myself here. It is nice to have a running game. That's something that the Cowboys haven't had literally since Zeke was in his prime. So it's nice to have a running game again that can actually do something and move the ball, take a little pressure off Dak. Dak looks awesome. My buddy texted me, was like, is Dak a top, not just top 10? For the first 2 weeks, he might be a top 5 quarterback in the league right now. Because if you look around the league, if you look around the league, bro, there's not many quarterbacks that are taking a team that has literally no defense and making it look like the Cowboys have looked weak. They almost beat the Eagles, and then they just put up 40 points on the Giants. So maybe top 5 is a stretch, but he's definitely top 10 so far this year. He's definitely top 10. It's so frustrating, though, because looking at this offense, it's so clear what this team had coming into this season. And it's so glaringly obvious that what this team is missing is fucking Micah Parsons. You know what I mean? It's so
it's pass rusher?
No. An elite pass rusher, bro. It's so clear because Russell Wilson was sitting back there all goddamn day. Like, I literally, that final drive, I sent into the Discord and was like, I have no faith that the Cowboys are actually going to make a stop here because they don't have the game changer on defense anymore. They don't have the guy that's going to go in and just completely wreck a drive. And it just shows every single time now. I was listening to the Cowboys play and they were like, well, at least they stopped the run. And it's like, bro, that's such a Jerry Jones take because that's what he said about the Micah Parsons. Well, at least we got a good run stopper. But yeah. I don't know, man. Great game. Brandon Aubrey is a kicking god. I would
Sure
do dirty.
is.
I would do dirty things to Brandon Aubrey's leg for sure.
His leg, not his foot, but his leg.
His entire leg. Yeah, I mean, the offense looks great. Defense looks garbage. Exactly kind of what we expected. I think they're exactly what we expect. They're going to be 9-8, kind of, 8-9, right in that area, fighting for a playoff spot at the end. That'll be a good season for the boys this year. If they can get 9-10 wins out of this team, I'll be very happy.
Just remember, if you want to go back and listen to my prediction for the Cowboys for the NFC prediction show or NFL prediction show, you can find those in the show notes. I predicted that the Patriots would win more games than the Dallas Cowboys. So, and their defense, I mean, listen, the Cowboys defense is looking like they want to prove me right. I mean, they make the Patriots defense currently look like the 04 Patriots defense. It's so bad. So bad. However, you're 1-1. So that's a good place to be. It could have been a lot
we
worse.
got the Bears. We got the Bears week 3. So,
that'll be fun. I can't wait to hear this show next week.
So I know we'll put up a few points at least. So we'll see. But maybe we'll make Caleb Williams look like a Pro Bowler this week. So, we'll see.
Yeah, Caleb might throw for 450 yards, but that's fine. All right. So the actual power rankings, the top 10. I think this is the most surprising. Number 10th pick, Bobby. Tell us who you have and why.
So I got the Bengals. I picked them over the Rams. I just think with Burrow being out, it is very tough. I want to see them make a move. I don't think Browning is the guy to hold it together for the next 3 months that he's out, because he's out until at least November, they're saying. So it's going to be a while. I want to see them make a move, man, because if they won that game, Jamar Chase looks as good as he does. They have T. Higgins. The name that jumps out to me is the guy who's the QB3 in New York right now, and I think would be so fun to see him in Cincinnati, and that's Jameis Winston. I want to see them go get him, because that would be so goddamn fun, man. He would just be chucking that thing up to those two. Lots of interceptions, but Brown is throwing picks too. So, I mean, what do they have to lose? This is more of like a symbolic number 10, because honestly, this probably should be the Rams, or
right.
It should be the Rams, but I felt so bad for the Bengals because the season was looking so up, and then for Burrow to go down like that, I had to give him at least the one shout out, put him in at 10. I don't know if we're going to see him here much longer. We'll see what Browning does moving forward, see if they make a move. But the Bengals, man. It's the Bengals funeral tour. We're giving him a funeral. We're putting him at number 10 as a symbolic cool Joe. We'll see later.
Is it time to have a conversation about Joe Burrow?
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy, man. I don't know. Is he injury prone? Is he Andrew Luck 2.0?
I think he's Andrew Luck 2.0.
Right? That's what it looks like, man. Because he has the talent.
Or is he injury prone because year 1 tore his ACL? Year 2, the only year that he's been 100% healthy, they made the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I would argue that. But 3 out of his 4 out of his 5 seasons, he's missed games, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because he had the wrists, he had the foot, he had the toe, the ACL. So, yeah, that's 4. Yeah. It's tough, man. It's tough because he's so good. He's so good. And he's so fun to watch. I feel bad for the guy. I really do. I feel Cincinnati's just cursed with quarterbacks at this point. Because every time you feel like they have a uptick, Carson Palmer back in the day, he was supposed to be the franchise.
That Steelers game, that Steelers game still haunts me. Like you just saw his ankle just snap.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Not good. Rough.
I think we're going to be surprised. This list is very surprising. I think especially the bottom half. I never expected to say this team. All right, but at number 9 and the week 3 power rankings for Bob Kelly, Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, it's wild.
Daniel Jones.
Bro, he looks like one of the better quarterbacks in the first 2 weeks. It's unbelievable. They scored on their first. This might be a New Orleans Saints from last year. We'll see. Because remember, they started out 2-0, made the power rankings, and then it was just downhill from there.
Yep.
But the first 2 weeks, man, Daniel Jones has looked awesome. He's looked great, and it's crazy to me. This is definitely the biggest surprise in the league so far. It's the Chiefs being 0-2 and the Colts being 2-0 are the number 2, the biggest 2 surprises for sure. Jonathan Taylor looks revived. Michael Pittman looks awesome. Steichen Looks like he might actually be a good coach, making the right decisions, choosing Jones over Richardson. Took some cojones, took some serious balls, and it seems like it's paying off so far, man. The team's responding to Jones. My buddy called him the White Mike Vick. So, he's got that going
Not
for
great.
him.
It's not great.
Yeah, man. And that was a crazy win, too. So when fate seems like it's on your side like that, where you're getting penalty calls, like, what was it? What was the call? I forget.
Oh,
Leverage.
God.
Leverage, right?
Yeah.
Leverage or something like that. Leverage.
Which I've never heard. Wow, it's been a long time since I've seen that called.
Yeah. That was wild. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, so they're definitely the second biggest surprise of the NFL so far. They deserve to spot on the list, though. They've looked awesome. Like I said, they did something in the first 2 weeks that we haven't seen since the Peyton Manning days. Like, they literally scored on their first,
since
I think
it
was like
the Saints last year.
well, like scoring. So they scored on like their first 14 possessions. So it's wild.
Yeah. No, I agree. Another question. Who would you rather have as your quarterback if you're starting a team right now, Bo Nix or Daniel Jones? Because you like Bo Nix.
Ooh. Bo Nix. It's still Bo Nix.
Is it though?
Yeah. We need to see more than just 2 weeks from Daniel Jones. But what 2 weeks would I take? Daniel Jones first 2 weeks. Yeah, I'd take Daniel Jones first 2 weeks for sure.
All right. I would, I think I'd take Daniel Jones. I think he has more. I think he has more God-given talent. Now, whether that's going to give him the abilities to have a better overall career, I don't know. Because I would argue that there are plenty of quarterbacks that had more God-given talent than Brady or Manning. But those two are the top two in my opinion. But yeah, I would say, listen, he's fast. He can fucking throw. If you can protect him, he won't make mistakes. He doesn't have to win you a game in Indy, right? Like he didn't with New York. He had to once Saquon was gone. He just can't lose you the game. And I think if you're in that situation, I think he's pretty good.
We've seen him win before. It's not like it's out of the realm of possibility for Daniel Jones to be a winning quarterback. Like, it happens. I said, where did they go? They went 11-5 that season, I think, or whatever. 12-5.
No, 10-7, and they beat Minnesota.
10. Okay, yeah. So he can do it. It's been done before. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But they deserve to spot at number 9 on the list so far. They look great the first 2 weeks. Definitely the biggest surprise.
Also, when Daniel Jones has a top 10 running back, he typically does pretty well. Number 8, another surprise. I think you could be surprised that they somehow made it on the list, despite all the negative talk that I've given them on this show over the last 3 weeks, or that they're so low. But number 8, Bobby,
Detroit Lions here. So the Rams are on the list, by the way. I don't know why we thought they weren't. The Rams are on the list, just for the record. But so the Lions, yes. So they look great week 2. They looked like the Lions that we thought they were going to be coming into the season, putting up a 50-burger. Amon-Ra was back. The running game was back. Goff looked like the no-mistake quarterback like he did almost all last year. He was almost perfect. But again, it was the Bears defense, and the Bears defense looks atrocious right now. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But at the same time, it looks like they got over the coordinator problem from week 1. It looks like they settled in and they got back to Detroit Lions football, and they looked like the team they did last year. So I'm definitely optimistic for the Lions moving forward. I think this is the team that we're going to see. They got Ravens week 3, which is definitely the game of week 3. I can't wait for that. But so obviously we're going to learn a lot about them in week 3. But yeah, I think the Lions have some solid upside moving forward. Didn't want to move them up too much because of what they looked like in week 1 and losing those coordinators. But 8 seemed like a good spot for them.
Yeah, but then they put up 52 points. So if you drop a 50 burger on any team in the NFL, like that is regardless of the situation. But they dominated this game. It was pure domination. Jared Goff threw 28 passes, completed 23 of them. I mean, if you get that out of him, they're going to be a really tough team to beat. Oh, and by the way, you have Gibbs and Montgomery running for 150 yards. Like that's going to be really tough.
That's their formula to win, man. And if Goff's playing like that, they're, like you said, they're so tough to beat when Goff's, if his completion percentage is above like 75 to 80%, the Lions are going to be putting up 30 to 40 points, without a doubt. Yeah. They're a tough team to beat when they're rolling. So we'll see what happens in week 3. Very intrigued for that game. I think it's going to be the best one of the week.
Which means it will either be that or it will be the worst game of the week. There's no in between when we say this on the air, because you and I always have the highest hopes for games, and then it either does live up to that or it's the worst. It's not in between. It will be the fucking worst game of the week. So I hope that you're right. Number 7 is a team that we've already honorably mentioned. It's like we forgot that they were on the list. It's almost like one of us put the list together and the other one reviewed it, and we still forgot it. But number 7, they're the other LA team, the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams are here. Like we already said, man, Stafford looks awesome. They have McVay, and that's just the formula that's going to be good to make you a top 10 team in the league right now. It's been a known formula for the past 3-4 years. Even last year, they started out 3-6 and still end up winning 10 games. So started out 2-0 this year, definitely a good sign for them. I think that they are a contender in the NFC. Devontae looks renewed in LA. He looks awesome. Puka is being Puka. So they definitely have a very good shot in the NFC, because if they can end this year like they did last year, but they start off hot, man, they're in business for sure.
Yeah, I guess I did not expect the duo of Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua to be as lethal as it's shown to be so far. But I mean, if Devontae plays like this all year, this is a better 1-2, and obviously Puka's still number 1 than Puka's ever been involved in, right? I mean, I just Devontae can stretch the field. Puka does so well on the underneath routes. He's such a physical wide receiver. This can be tough. And if Kyron Williams stays healthy, Matt Stafford stays healthy, we already know about the coach. So, I mean, it's weird to say that like they're not going to miss Cooper Kupp, or they haven't so far.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? It's the formula of what they wanted it to be with Cooper Kupp. But Kupp could never stay healthy. Having the 2 top wide receivers and Stafford swinging the ball to him, they haven't been able to capitalize on that. So now we finally are getting to see it. It's been awesome through 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens for sure. I think the Rams have very positive season ahead of them, 100%.
All right, so with number 6, I think this is a team that's always overhyped at the beginning of the season. They turn out to be like that feisty towards the end. But go ahead, Bobby. Number 6 in the power rankings.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I am on the goddamn Baker Mayfield train like no other. I love Baker Mayfield, man. He just pulls games out of his ass right now. And the 2 games that he won so far were games that they had no business winning. Evans hasn't looked great so far, and Abuka looks like he's the one. But they still pull these games out, man. And I think Baker Mayfield is showing that he's absolutely a top 10 quarterback in the league. I would take him over a lot of quarterbacks right now. I would take him over Stafford, I think. I would take him over definitely Knicks. I would take him over Daniel Jones. I would take him over...
What about Mahomes?
So far? In this season so far? Yeah, I would take him over Mahomes.
In the last 3 years, he's put up the same or better numbers than Mahomes.
Yeah, man. Baker's baller. When I jumped on the Baker train was when he won that game with the Rams after he'd only been there for like 48 hours. Right. So being here, man, and being in the hunt, I really think the Bucs are going to make some noise. They're absolutely the best team in that division. They're going to run away with that for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So they're going to be in this list pretty much all season. Starting out 2-0 is definitely on the right track, because they're against 2 pretty solid teams too. I mean, Falcons maybe not, but beating the Texans,
and the Texans also maybe not.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. You're right.
Against 2 solid teams
what the Texans were supposed to be, I guess.
Yeah, against 2 solid teams that we almost crossed off 30 minutes ago. But yeah, you're right. It's been just a strenuous schedule. All right, we're in the top half, and I think we all expected this team to be here because of the coach and his pedigree. Go ahead, Bobby.
So the LA Chargers, Herbert's looked awesome so far. He definitely looks like the guy that we thought he was going to be, starting last year before. So he definitely looks like the number 1 in the West right now, which is crazy. They're 2-0, first place in the West, and the Chiefs are 0-2 right now. So they're already got 2 games up on the Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs, and if Herbert in the run game is going to look like that, man, they're going to be tough to beat. I really like the Chargers this year. I do. I think they're going to surprise a lot of teams and compete in that AFC, especially with Burrow.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I guess my only thing is that it feels like this team was built by Harbaugh to be a run first, explosive pass team, but I don't love Amari and Hampton yet, and we already know what Najee Harris is. So could they have a problem and have to be forced to throw too much, and then Sam Herbert appears?
Possibly, but I don't know, man. The weapons look really good down there right now. Quentin Johnson looks like he's finally showing out. McConkey looks awesome. So I mean, we'll see. But so far, so good. Without that running game, they're already 2-0. But you're right. He got stuffed 3 times at the goal line,
I know.
which is definitely not what I was expecting out of Hampton.
Right.
He's a great goal line back, man. He was great in college. So I don't know what's going on with him. See, but yeah. I do like Chargers. I like Herbert a lot moving forward. So that's why they got to number 5.
Number 4, I think this is too low. I think they should be top 3. I think it's your bias that keeps them out of it, but go ahead.
The Green Bay Packers. I totally understand why you think they should be number 3. Number 3. They've looked so good. That defense looks unbelievable so far. I can only imagine why. It's only like they got traded the best pass rusher in the league coming into the season. That might make a small difference. But yeah, man, they are definitely one of the better teams in the league right now. Jordan Love looks awesome. I wish they had a little more wide receiver because they don't have much, especially with Jaden Reed's out now. Golden doesn't look great. I don't know. I mean, they haven't really utilized him too much, but
They're going to have to now. I think between him and Dobbs, I think they should be okay. But I mean, their running game, if they can get 80 to 100 yards a game out of Josh Jacobs and kind of sprinkle in Savion Williams, because he's been like their other running back so far, then I think they should be okay. And that defense, it does look scary. And they are better than the Ravens. You know that. You know it. You just couldn't put them there.
You think they're better than the Ravens? So right now, Ravens versus Packers, $100, neutral field. You would put it on the Packers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like big game, you have to win it. I know what Lamar is going to do, so I'll take my chances with Jordan for sure.
Okay. I totally get it. I just see what the Ravens did week 1. They looked great, although they turned into the old Ravens in the end. Derrick Henry fumbling that ball. Definitely not what we're looking for out of him. But week 2, they went right back to the regular Ravens. Lamar looked awesome in week 2. Granted, it was against the Browns. I know.
Right.
But I just have more optimism for the Ravens moving forward in the season than I do for the Packers. I think the Ravens have a better shot of winning the Super Bowl, which is why they got that. Plus,
you have less.
Packers.
Yeah, you have less bias towards the Ravens, which is it. Because if you look at who the Packers have beat this year so far, I would argue that their 2 opponents are a little bit better than the Ravens' 1 victory.
They probably have the 2 best wins in the league so far, to be honest. Because
that's fine.
They dominated the Lions, and then the Lions came out and scored 50 points, and they dominated the Commanders.
And we're in the NFC title game last year.
Right. So they've looked awesome first 2 weeks, but fuck the Packers.
But go ahead. Sell me in your top 3.
So number 3, Baltimore Ravens. Listen, bro, it's the Lamar show. He looked awesome week 2. He looked awesome week 1. It wasn't his fault they lost that game week 1. That game did not turn on anything Lamar did. That was the Derrick Henry fumble, and then it was all downhill from there. And then Josh Allen just took that game over. So I don't pit that on Lamar, although it does seem like it just adds to his resume of the big games and blowing it in the big moment. I understand. But look at this team, man. They scored 40 points 2 weeks in a row. I just think with Lamar leading the way, man, just Casilli is the limit for them. You know what I mean? And we're going to see this week when they play the Lions. I think it's going to be another high-scoring game, but I think the Ravens come out on top. I really do. I think the Ravens are going to show a lot this week. on it's Monday Night Football too. So it'll be in front of the whole world. You know Lamar's going to show up. So
Yeah, because it's the regular season. Listen, I'm just trying to save you from yourself. You know, like this happened. That you have like a sort of love for Lamar, not as deep and affection as you are with Cowboys, but it's there. Like you just believe that he's gonna do it. And then for 17 straight regular season weeks, you're like, Mike, fuck you. I told you he's gonna do it, and then he doesn't do it. And that team scored 40 points 2 weeks in a row, and they're 1-1. Okay. I would just say, I think it's completely plausible for Lamar to ball out against Detroit. I think it's going to happen. I think he could win the MVP again. I'm here for that. That actually will help my narrative moving forward.
because then they're going to blow it in the playoffs.
Right.
No, I get it. I get it. And it's going to be to the team that we have at number 2.
Yep.
But yeah, so we'll see. I couldn't agree more that he's not a playoff quarterback. All right, when it comes down to it, it doesn't seem like that he can win that big game, especially against those top quarterbacks in late in January.
Right.
But and the power rankings are a regular season list, and B,
Heavily biased. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
fuck the Pats.
Right. I'm also here for that too. All right, number 2, those Bills up in Buffalo.
Yep, they look as advertised through 2 weeks. They look unbelievable, man. Josh Allen is just unreal. He has taken the reins as a top quarterback in the NFL, without a doubt, right? He's number 1. Who would you put above Josh Allen? You're not putting Mahomes there anymore. It's not Mahomes.
Yes,
it's not Lamar.
Of course it's Mahomes.
You think so? Yeah,
To be the man
right now.
To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Okay, understood.
And by the way, like I don't think Josh Allen is better than Joe Burrow when he's healthy.
Yeah, the only one Joe Burrow's the only one that has beat Mahomes. By the way, he's literally the only one of the group. But if any year, I know we've said this before, but it looks like this could be it for the Bills. Listen, he looks awesome, and I love the defense. I love the Bosa addition. He looks like revived in Buffalo. He looked awesome in week 2. He's mic'd up where they put a tight end on Bosa, and he's just over on the side. He's like, bro, you see that? They put a goddamn tight end on me. Yeah, so they look awesome. Bills look great. I wish I could put him at number 1 because fuck the Eagles, but we can't do that. We can't take the chance off the top spot at this point. So let's get to that. Number 1, the Philadelphia goddamn Eagles. I don't know how they do it, man. I really don't, because 2 weeks in a row, they have no passing.
None.
But I just want to ask you, who would you take right now if this was the Super Bowl? This is why I jumped in. Eagles or Bills? Because the Bills look better.
Eagles.
But it's the Eagles still, right?
Still the Eagles, because again, like this is I feel like it's an exhausted narrative, but we've seen those 2 quarterbacks in big time games, and more often than not, Josh Allen does not win big time games, and Jalen Hurts does.
But it's because of the system in Philly, in my opinion. I don't know if is Jalen a top 10 quarterback? I'm so confused about Jalen Hurts.
Like, Jalen Hurts went to a Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley.
That's true. He did. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay, so who would you take right now as a head coach, Sean McDermott or Nick Sirianni?
I hate Nick Sirianni, but Nick Sirianni.
Right. So then, I mean, I do think Josh Allen is hampered by having Sean McDermott as his head coach. I've been saying that for a very long time. I don't think he's a good coach. But I don't think Sirianni's a savant either. I don't, because they had 2 Super Bowl appearances with 2 different sets of coordinators. So the only 2 constants are Sirianni and Jalen Hurts.
Sure. Hey, listen, there's no one better at that goddamn tush push. That's literally the most effective play in the league. And it's so goddamn frustrating and annoying. It's so fucking annoying. And they're cheating. every week now. Just as a Cowboys fan, I need to point that out. The Eagles on that tush push, it's already been pointed out. Literally, the entire offensive line false starts. The entire goddamn offensive line. But they're never going to call it, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, if the Eagles are in the top 4 teams of the league, they're never going to ban it because then it'll look like they're trying to knock them down. What would have to happen is that they have to be in the middle tier and now prove that it's not effective anymore, and then the NFL would ban it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Oh, you can't be the Packers and get trounced by them and then say, "Oh, I want to ban that move," or "I want to ban that." It's just stupid. Don't be a pussy.
Yeah. That's such a bitch move. You're right.
Fuck the Packers, Bobby. You're right.
Fuck the Packers. Indeed. That's for DK. He's not here. Fuck the Packers.
Yeah. But I love Micah.
Yeah, I do love Micah, but it pains me to see him in that goddamn uniform. I literally can't even look at it. Well, when Micah is on the field,
I might get you
turn
one.
it. Don't turn it. I won't wear it.
I might get one for the girls.
Oh, that would hurt.
You have to wear it.
I don't know what to do with my Micah Parsons jersey. I loved it for so long, and now I just have it, and I'm like, I don't even want to put it on. But it's just so sad.
It's like, oh God, who was the quarterback for the Raiders that won a Super Bowl for them? But we had him and he sucked.
Plunkett?
Yeah, it's like if you had a Plunkett jersey for a Patriot, like what do you do?
Was it Plunkett? Yeah, it was Plunkett, right?
It was Plunkett. Yeah. Well, Bobby, I would say I usually come into these pretty confrontational. Shocker. Thing I had for you was the Bengals. I don't understand why they're number 10. I do get it why you would do it because it's probably the last time we're going to see them. But in no way, shape, or form are the Baltimore Ravens better through 2 weeks than the Green Bay Packers. Like they're just not. But that's why it's your list. That's why it's your show. And that's why I was honored to be here with you. So we did it. Another Power Ranking show is done. For the real BK Bob Kelly, this is Mike Marcangelo saying thank you so much for listening to Missing the Point. Talk to you later.